Remember, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Touch him up. Good luck.
Who the fuck is
Larry Flowers?
So how you gonna do it?
I'm gonna trade this life for fortune and fame. I'd even cut my hair and change my name. Cause we all just wanna be big rock stars.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another unbelievable episode of Fair but Firm with myself, Larry Flowers. I have a very special guest, one of my best boys, someone I'd like to sometimes give him right a noggin, but he's one of my best friends, and Scottie Upshall, former NHLer, played for my Philadelphia Flyers, all-time legend, first guest ever. Thanks for coming on, bud.
Yeah, thank you, Flowers. It's nice to see you got out of bed for this great interview that we're going to have today.
Barely.
I know that Aspen can take its toll on you. I've been here probably 6 or 7 different times with you.
Yeah. And
in that total of 7 times, you've probably been on the hill maybe 4.
I mean, everybody gets on the hill so early. They're like on the hill by 9:30. You know, when I'm in Aspen, I like to get out of bed at like 10:30, wake up, my routine.
What
Plus
is that
the night-
routine like anyway?
Well, the routine.
What's
now
the
that's how I Rocky, right? So, like, you know, I got to get up. I get up.
You
I
have
get to the bathroom. I get myself together, wash my face. Then I take Rocky to the park. I think I have more fun taking Rocky to the park these days than I do going up on the mountain. It's just he plays with all the dogs, and just the atmosphere in Aspen is absolutely epic. I've been coming to Aspen now for 17 years for New Year's, 16 out of 17 years. It's an epic town. It's absolutely beautiful. The energy is incredible, as you know, and you're fortunate enough, you and Christina, to have purchased a beautiful home here. So now you're a part of the community, and which makes it even better for all of us and our crew, and a lot of our friends have houses here. So Aspen is just the best.
Yeah, there's no place like it. And New Year's Eve, it's a little bit of a racket. In fact, this year I was pretty sold on not going out for New Year's. Like, I was like, there's no way I'm going to get rinsed again for fucking $5,000 and be somewhere where the tunes suck or it's just too much hype. Like, I don't know. The people out there, fucking New Year's Eve sucks. Like,
Well, New Year's is always overrated.
It's
right?
just, I like the atmosphere of vacation. I like skiing, which there's not much snow here, so we haven't even been on the hill. But like New Year's Eve in general, like girls want to go for dinner and they don't, they don't even eat.
No,
and it's like $1,000 a head. What are we talking about here? Let's just fucking go into a bar. Let's fucking drink some fucking gin and tonics and beer. And like, let's have fun. And then let's spend a couple $100 each. Instead, it's like fucking $15,000 tables. And what are we doing?
It's crazy. It's crazy, but it's almost like it has to be done.
I know, but it's like start the year off with just a fucking.
I know you kind of did your own thing. You had dinner with our boy Shelton, while we had our own little dinner and set up before for a pregame for New Year's. And I recall vividly me kind of looking around. We get to the club. We go to Snow Lodge, which was an incredible setup this year, and we're having a good time. I'm thinking to myself, where the fuck is this Upshall? And so obviously everyone's like, yeah, I don't know if he's coming or not. And I said, you know what, I've had enough of this shit. So obviously I sent you a couple not so nice text messages.
I didn't get him until it was like 2:30 in the morning, and I was, feeling pretty sky high, feeling good. And I'm like, the fuck is this guy talking about? I said, come hang out with your friends.
Yeah, I said, basically get the fuck over here.
I'll tell you what was going on, and we should get to this, but it was a big week in fantasy football. We met in the finals of Larry Bettman's league, and call it what it is. Okay, I'm up. I have 2 guys left on the Sunday nighter. It's been a pretty good battle so far, and I have 2 players to get 14.5 points. And yeah, I started chirping.
Who are those players?
It was Jefferson and fucking I don't know
Chandler. Hell of a running back. Both Minnesota Vikings players. Pretty much a lock. The best part about this is, obviously, you and I have what I would call the biggest and deepest rivalry in Larry's league, fantasy football league, and obviously we end up facing each other in the finals, which was very exciting. But what happened? I wanted to play Reed. I pulled Reed out for Hubbard. Big mistake. I basically cost myself the title. You need 14.5 points going into the Sunday nighter. And what did you do on the group chat? You start chirping and talking about how you're the greatest fantasy football. Now, for the record, you're a good fantasy football player.
Great fantasy.
You're a good fantasy football player. I'm not sure how much you actually know about football, but you definitely have a way of kind of maneuvering your way around, free agency and the waiver wire and trades. Some things a little suspect, maybe not, but nevertheless, you you took it upon yourself to talk a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And kind of just put the cart before the horse. And so it was hard watching the Sunday Night Football game. But comes the third quarter, comes the fourth quarter, and all you needed was just a couple points.
Well, Minnesota Vikings, like they buried me basically. Like the quarterback that started, he sucked. He's a fifth round pick. He's never thrown a ball. They keep him in for two quarters. And then finally they're like, well, we're still in a playoff hunt. Let's put this other kid back. And boom, we're starting to get some passes going. We're starting to create some offense. It was literally 3-0, 3-0, 3-0 the first fucking quarter. And I'm like, I text you. I'm like, you're such a lucky fuck. I'm going to lose this.
I wouldn't answer your text. So you kept calling and
but I didn't care. So
me.
Anyway, if you were wondering where I was New Year's Eve, I was sitting at this beautiful restaurant here with my girl, Christina, Sheldon and his wife, Katie, the four of us. We had a couple's dinner. And then we bounced around, and the whole time I'm sitting there on my phone, just and Sheldon, who, is as smart as he is, and he's an athlete, he's fucking jacked and ripped. He doesn't really like football. He's like, "What are you watching?" I go, "I'm on fucking finals for $10,000, playing Flowers, and I literally need one fucking yard for in the next 5 minutes. I need basically 2 feet of football fucking advancing." And
then they threw the one ball to Jefferson.
I know, and
Jefferson
pushed
gets
out.
tackled. We look at the score. This is the fourth quarter. And we look at the score. And it's almost an impossible score. Sometimes you ask yourself, are there football gods? Are there sports gods? Are there karma gods? I would normally say no. I would always usually think that talent usually takes over, and fate probably has a lot of things to do with sports, but I think I changed my mind.
What would you have done if they readjusted after the game and gave Chandler an extra yard and I won by
well, let's let them know how much I won by first.
You won by 0.02.
0.02. That's the equivalent of an inch, right?
Yeah,
equivalent of an inch. It's impossible. The odds, if there was a Vegas line that I would win by 0.02, it would have to be in the millions.
Yeah,
at least once a million. It's impossible.
You're the commissioner. You win by that.
I'm the commissioner.
It's like there's something fishy.
Yeah,
I opened a full investigation, fucking for fraud, for fucking money laundering. There's a full scheme of crime you've committed here.
Now you know how I feel. I've dealt with a lot of shit from you when it comes to fantasy football. The entire league has dealt with you for quite a bit. Again, you've done very well for yourself, but there's a lot of suspect moves you've made. God bless you. It's whoever, you do what you got to do to win. But in this case, the title comes back to where it rightfully belongs.
Unlike you, I'm going to cut you off. Unlike you who can't put things to rest, I will bring up last year in the finals, fucking what's his name from Buffalo goes down in the last game of the year. I'm in the finals against McEll. Game ends. Everyone worldwide in fantasy football got put in a certain spot, right? Who is the winner? I had a guy still going in this game. He didn't. But it all came down to who had the most fucking points. And that was me. It wasn't who was projected to go higher, which is what you gave McEll the fucking championship for. You were in control of giving the trophy out. And you fucking, because you didn't like me, you gave it to McEll. I had the most points. In every other league in the world, the trophy was given out to that guy. And I've been on a fucking hot streak. I've in our fantasy football 4 years.
It was from the game that got canceled.
I know.
Yeah.
But I had the most points. At the end of the day, I had the most points.
There was a nationwide readjustment of points. I went by the rules.
No.
Listen,
you went by your...
You may not like the way I run the league, but very similar to the way I run my life. I am a fair but firm commissioner.
You sleep a lot. Yeah.
You call me Larry Batman. I do sleep a lot. But when it comes to this league, we've built an incredible league. A league that will go on for years to come, and I could not sleep any better.
Listen.
I'm in the best of moods. It's the new year, 2024, ringing in 2024.
You won fantasy, all right?
Ring in 2024
I'll give it to
on New Year's Eve by winning the title against my arch nemesis by 0.02 is absolutely epic. It was a great season. Congratulations on a number 2 seed. I think you might actually still be number 1 overall in points for the league. In trophies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I should be.
But
by the way, so I got caught that week. I got to find this guy. I didn't talk about him on the podcast, but I will on yours. This guy right here in the DMs, his name is fucking... Oh, shit. What's his name? So I bet him a fucking bottle of wine. He lives in Vancouver. He hit me up. He's like,
He was taking flowers.
he took flowers. He's like,
Attaboy.
I'm a Philly fan. So
Oh, boy.
I want to see where he is though, because his and then I have people, you reach out to my social media guy, you put together this video, fucking chirping me that you win. Anyway, I've had a lot of people in my DMs being like, fucking the fix is on. Flowers always complains about the NFL being fixed, this and that. So I can't find this guy's name, but I owe you a bottle of wine. And I think people are like, there's something fishy going on,
That's.
But I'm whatever. Today's a new day. You won fantasy.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Great season.
When do I get my money back? Like, I don't lose
Don't worry,
anything.
I'll handle all that.
Okay.
As a commissioner, we'll make sure we both get paid. Maybe we'll go out to do a little celebratory one-on-one dinner, title game. Let's talk for a second. You're a member of one of the best hockey podcasts in the world, Missin, Curfew. You and another one of our best boys, Shane O'Brien. It's an incredible podcast. It's something I've had the privilege of being a part of for a long time. You guys take advantage of me by talking a lot of shit all the time when I can't kind of get my own voice out there and defend myself. So here we are. So it gives me an opportunity to be able to do so. But all kidding aside, the podcast is doing incredible. I'm really, really proud of you. I watched you guys build something from nothing, from the beginning. And it's really become something very special. It's got a lot of respect in the NHL world. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. Well, you've been there since day one. You've been. I think if you lived a little closer, maybe you would have had a seat at the table, eh? But we understand. You're working hard. You built your brand, which is no easy task. So to rewind 4 years now, I think it's been 4 years. Jimmy Scoops Hayes, our boy that we lost. We went into this thing together, not really knowing what the hell was going on. Like most people who start businesses, they kind of like have an idea. They put together some planning and some effort. Well, we were throwing shit against the wall to see what stuck. And what we did find at the time was chemistry through our friendship, through playing hockey together, through our off-ice habits, gave us something special to talk about and something special to lean on each other for. And you talk about Obes, who's hard on you as much as he's hard on me. The tides turn every other week, so it's hilarious. I think right now it's against you.
It's definitely me right now.
And Obi is, Obi's a great fucking leader. He's brought something to the table here that I actually never really saw in Shane O'Brien when I knew Shane. I played with him a little bit in Florida. Wish I got to play more with him that year, but he was up and down with us. But guys who've ever played with Obi, wears his heart on his sleeve, got a tattoo of a shamrock on his back. He's hilarious. He's fucking a great person, loves his nephews and his family. And but what I've seen is his savviness in and around, creating a great show. And he comes fucking ready to rock and roll. He watches a ton of hockey now. He's done an incredible job at the NHL Network with his boy Cooley on NHL Sirius Radio. So he's evolved in 5 or 6 years into someone that, people want to listen to. People want to take his advice. They wake up every Tuesday, Thursday, and want to hear fucking what his week was like, who his football picks were, fucking how much he fucking hates you. It just so that that is what Missin Curfew has grown into. And we have friends of the pod that come on all the time. You're one of them. Loops comes on, Joffrey Lupul. We've had everyone from Timu Solani, Getzlaff, Wayne Gretzky, fucking, we had Keith Jones on, who arguably right now is up for president of the year in the NHL. But we often said it was going to be more of a lifestyle show, and then we got really deep into hockey, and then our relationship with DraftKings became pretty strong, and they opened up a network, DKN. Our relationship with them then turned into like a sports gambling fantasy type of show, but what we've been able to do is just keep our own our own flavor, and no one's ever said you need to do this with your show, you need to do that. We have a segment called This Guy Fucks. We have a segment called Get This Guy a Beer, Labatt Blue Light, which a shout out to your boy, your producer is Jack, who's on the other line.
Jack's on the other line, yeah.
Man, I saw the Labatt Blue Light fucking fridge in his studio there. So they've been proud partners. Life Force, for anyone checking out, you want to stay young, get hard forever. Fucking Life Force, they're a great brand. So through partners, and then Obi and I's kind of just creativity and what we wanted to do with our show, we've done over 180 or almost 200 shows now, and fuck, it feels like yesterday that we were zooming in like this, talking to Jimmy Scoops and fucking going, what the fuck are we going to talk about today? So,
yeah, I mean, listen, I as someone who's obviously we're all best friends, but someone who's also a huge fan of you guys, you and O'Brien, who have been a huge part of my life. To watch the show evolve into what it's become, like, in the beginning, and I think you would agree that O'Brien's very hard on himself. He kind of went through the transition, and I'm sure you went through one as well. Retiring from the NHL is not an easy thing. Retiring from pro sports or anything is not easy. You've dedicated your entire life to becoming one of the best athletes in the world, and all of a sudden to be done playing and to try to transition into your new life. Obviously, you have a family. You have two beautiful little kids, Christina. But it was a great vision of O'Brien to come up with this podcast, and obviously with you as well. And in the beginning, I watched it kind of progress into something where it didn't really know what it was going to be. But over time, it became something that was so special. People really enjoy it. You're so well spoken. You know the game. You've played in the NHL for 13 years. O'Brien's been in the NHL over 10 years, and O'Brien really, I think we could both agree that there's not a more prototypical, well-spoken, pure Canadian hockey guy than Shane O'Brien, right?
maybe Don Cherry. That's it.
He's the new Don Cherry. We've said it.
Yeah.
We've said it for years. He really is. He's got an incredible personality. He's well-spoken. He loves the game. He truly loves the game. He knows the game. He could speak the game. And so, again, to see where you guys have gone, sky's the limit. I think that there's going to be incredible opportunities moving forward with you guys. I think you're just scratching the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So you've been part of these, but definitely something that we enjoy doing is the fellow tours. So,
the best.
In creating a brand, and you've done this now with Larry Flowers Jewelry. Building a brand isn't just your TV show or your office with watches. It's now, you got to show your personality somehow and create different areas of whether it's revenue or spending time or, charity work or events. So we found this fellow tour to be kind of our bread and butter where, we pick a spot and we tell DraftKings, our main sponsor, like we're going to go in, we're going to light up the Waste Management Open in Scottsdale. We're going to set up a stage. We're going to get baseball guys or hockey players or fucking, agents or musicians to come by, shoot the shit, have a beer with us, film some stuff, interact with the fans, show who we are, give away fucking fella hats. And
yeah. And just for anyone out there listening that doesn't understand what the fella tour is really all about, the word fella. Fella is a word that's been an integral part of our group for years. Fella is just something we say. It's our word. We've kind of trademarked it in our own way, right? Everything is fella, but it's a great word, and it kind of it encapsulates us as a group, and it's just what kind of keeps us all together. And you turn it into the fella tour, which has become an incredible thing. It's great to we have the privilege of sometimes going on some beautiful private planes and flying all over the country and going to great events. And as a matter of fact, there's a big fella tour event coming up in a few weeks here to talk about that.
Yeah. So we're headed to the NHL All-Star Game. You're going to be alongside the boys, the fellas, and this year it's in Toronto, which the mecca of hockey. Austin Matthews, 30 goals already, lighting up the lamp. He'll be there. And now, Bieber will be there. I'm sure Drake will fucking be there and throw parties. But Missin Curfew with our boy Travis Agresti.
Shout out, Trav.
We're going to launch a little bash on the Friday night of, you heard it here. We're gonna ball it out. We've got Crown Royal as a sponsor, and then we're gonna hopefully bring on your friend, our boy Roger has kits, these amazing eyewear glasses in Canada. So we're gonna maybe host a 9 to fucking 4 a.m. bash. Yep. Everyone's invited. And it'll be unreal. It'll be everyone's well dressed at our buddy Travis's restaurant Park. bottle service, have some babes there. It'll be all the NHL alumni who kind of roll through, all the brass. Like last year, we threw a pretty killer party in Fort Lauderdale that was a house party. We almost tore
all-time party.
the place down.
Anybody that doesn't understand, that doesn't know this, for the listeners that know me, they obviously know my background with this group and the legendary shakers that we've been known to throw. To be able to kind of throw another big party like this, you guys for years and years have always been known to be able to have a good time and get some good people around and party properly. But yeah, it's going to continue over into the All-Star weekend. And it's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So that'll roll over to the Waste Management Open. So it's a busy week, and you kind of put your head down, you work, you try to create some good content, which is what you're doing here with your new show. So we do that. The Waste Management Open. There soon after follows your birthday. 40?
45. Yeah,
For you,
40. I look 40.
For Larry Flowers' 45th birthday falls on Super Bowl weekend, of course, and you're talking about Vegas, and I just think you're nuts. I'd rather sit at fucking K Wash's basement in
Well, he'll be in Vegas.
In LA. And
don't kid yourself.
That's true. Yeah,
he'll be in Vegas. I want to touch on one more thing. I want to talk about one more thing because it's important to me. Obviously, I'm a diehard Flyers fan. Flyers are I always call them my brother of all the sports teams. The Eagles are my best friend. I love the Eagles more than anything. But the Flyers are my first love in sports. And you had a privilege. You and Joffrey Loophole were, another one of our best friends. Both played for the Flyers. We weren't really tight then when you played for the Flyers, but I did get to watch you play, and you were one of my favorite players to watch. You certainly made me laugh. You worked hard. You hit hard. You played the game the right way. You were a Philly fan favorite. Talk to us a little bit about your time in Philly and with the Flyers.
Yeah, no. First off, thanks. Appreciate you respectfully liking the way I played the game.
I love the way you play the game. Listen, I don't love the way everyone plays the game.
I think I'm an honest critic. All my off-ice antics. This guy's chasing around girls that I used to. Of course, you're probably like, I like this guy. Where is he hanging out in the summer? No, listen. So I was, drafted to Nashville, and I had this great group of guys there that I got to grow up with as a late teenager into my 20s, and then for the first time ever in my life, I get traded. I get a call that I'm going to be traded to Philadelphia. And what I didn't know at the time was just how different teams are. Parity of teams and parity of ownership and fan bases and stuff. Living in Nashville, we didn't have many fans come to our game, but the ones that were, they were passionate. And we used to go around to schools and try to promote hockey in different areas in Nashville where no one really heard of hockey or ever seen a hockey stick or fucking skates. And so it was to them learning a new language. I got traded to Philadelphia, and the moment I walk in there, I get picked up from the airport by our team services guy, Brian Hardenberg, and he's driving me out to the practice rink, and I'm staying at this Fairfield Inn or some hotel, little shitty hotel. And I woke up the next morning, I walk into the practice rink. I meet the trainer, Jimmy McCrossan, Derek Settlemeyer, Nasty, who was our stick guy, been there forever, Brick, who sharpens all the wheels. And, I'm in the Philadelphia Flyers practice rink, and I'm like, this is fucking badass. This is on such a different level than where I was in Nashville in a practice rink there and what I knew of the NHL.
At Snyder days.
Yeah, you walk in the practice rink and there's old photos, and there's a breakfast room, and there's fucking the video room, and then there's Nasty's area with just loads of sticks and gear, and the jersey and the logos everywhere, and the history and the pictures of Bobby Clark and the pictures of fucking our GM Paul Holmgren at the time, and these old school warrior type fucking moments that the Philadelphia Flyers had lived through. And you're like, wow, I'm part of now something that's, bigger than, just who you are as a player. You're now part of this family. And there was a sign in Philly, in the dressing room, and it said, whatever you need here, we will get you. The moment you put on this jersey, you are part of our family. That was and you're like, fuck, this is insane. And, Johnny Stevens was our coach He was a new coach at the time. He had taken over for Hitchcock. We were dead last in the league at the time. I got traded for Peter Forsberg, which was pretty fucking badass. And, when I got there, I was given an incredible opportunity to kind of get back to where I was when I first got drafted. And I played with great players. I was on a line with Jeff Carter, Mike Knuble. We had Mike Richards on our team.
What a squad that was.
Yeah, but that to finish that year, we had like 12 or 13 games. Actually, I got traded a little bit before the deadline. So I probably played 25 games. And it was, we were just like, let's get this over with, right? Like we were dead last. And that summer was a pretty wild summer for, if you were to look back in the last 20 years on what GM made the most moves and the most impact on turning a franchise around, you have to give it to Paul Holmgren and what he did with our team that year. We went from dead last to playing in the conference finals in one season. We had brought in Kimmo Timonen and Scott Hartnell on a deal that was incredible. They basically, when I got traded, it was me, Ryan Parent, who was a first-round draft pick to Nashville. He was a defenseman, and a first-round pick for Peter Forsberg. So it was like a three-piece deal for that, for a legend. We traded back that first-round pick for the rights to negotiate with Scott Hartnell and Kimmo Timonen because they were going to be free agents. So 2 weeks before the free agency, Paul Holmgren calls both of these guys, knowing that they're buddies, and he traded the first-round pick back and basically offered them great deals. So, boom, all of a sudden, before the free agency hits, we got Scott Hartnell and Kimmo Timonen, two of my old teammates, best buddies. Then July 1st, I'll never forget it, I'm in Canada, and I'm in Sylvan Lake where Lupul and I have been best buds now for 4 or 5 years, and he's playing for the Oilers, his hometown squad. And we're Canada Day, Sylvan Lake. We're at this bar. We're me, him, Matt Green, who was his teammate. And I get a text from Nasty, and he's like, "We just traded for your boy." And I'm like, "Huh? My boy?" He's like, "Lupul." And I'm like, "Come on." He's like, "No, fucking, we just traded for Lupul." So I'm sitting at this bar, fucking drinking beer with Lupus, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, "Do you got your phone on you?" And he's like, "No." Of course, anyone that knows Lupul, fuck it. He's like, "No, it's dead."
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's dead. I'm like, okay. And now I don't know I don't know how to basically break this. I believe Nasty. I check, there wasn't Twitter at the time. There was no sort of social media, so I couldn't really check it, but I look on like the web and nothing. I text like a couple guys on the team, Hartnell. I'm like, "Did you hear about this yet?" He's like, "No." So, after probably finishing my beer and having a shot, I'm like, I get the balls to be like, "Loops, I got to tell you something." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "I know you don't have your phone, but I think you got traded." He's like, "What?" He's like, "How would you know? How would you know that?"
You're nervous to tell him because you don't know if he's going to like it or maybe
it's a pretty crazy thing. Like everyone,
diehard Oiler fan growing up. Like
when you get traded in pro sports, when you first hear of it, you'll never forget. It's a moment you'll never forget, right? So I'm like, I don't know how to just break this. Now, not only am I telling Lupul, that his life's about to change, but I'm also telling a teammate of his that he's losing a guy on his squad, right? And I actually know the pieces that were part of the deal at the time, and it's another one of Matt Green's buddies, a guy, Jason Smith, who ended up being our captain. So we, Nasty goes, we're going to trade Lupul and Jason Smith, and we're giving away Jeff Sanderson and Yoni Pikkinen. And I was like, fuck. So I have this basically in my head, not knowing how to break it to Loops. And then I tell him, I'm like, "Buddy, I love you to death. You're going to fucking play on my squad." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, the deal's not finalized, but it's done. And you're probably going to get a call when you fucking plug your phone back in. And I don't know what to tell you, but it's going to be fucking awesome." And then he was kind of sad, and Greener fucking losing his mind. He actually he's shedding a tear. Like, "This is fucking brutal. I lost two of my buddies, but Lupo and I were like, we're going to create some great memories." So we trade for Loops and Jason Smith. We trade for Danny Briere. We sign Aaron Asham. And all of a sudden we just brought in 7 players, which completely turned our team around. We signed Marty Baron, who ended up being our goalie. Had he made a couple more saves, we might have beat the Pittsburgh Penguins, but a pretty special time there. And you brought it up. The fans liked the way we played. They appreciated what that team was built on. And I think if you kept that, you ask anyone on that team, if you kept us together 2 more years, anyone we ever played, like you skate around in warm-ups and you look at,
no one wanted to play.
no, they didn't want to play us, but they wanted to be on our team because they knew like we had so much fun and we were like a good, well, like built group of guys. And, there wasn't crazy superstars, but like Mike Richard came in to be an incredible leader and a fucking tough player. He made a name for himself. And Jeff Carter hit another level of play.
It's just, there's a thing about sports, right?
Great.
There's a thing about sports being in the room. There's a lot more than talent, right? There's the room, there's the friendships, there's the synergy within guys. And sometimes when you have something special with a bunch of, guys that really get along and want to play and play hard for each other, great things happen. And I think that's what happened with you guys. You guys had incredible years. I love watching you guys play. And obviously Luke's had an incredible career as well.
Yeah.
Philly, he scored a Game 7 OT winner against the Caps, which was one of the greatest moments I've ever. When me and Luke became friends, I met Luke first before you and Obes, as far as between you two, and I remember first meeting him, and I looked at him, I'm thinking, fuck, this guy scored a Game 7 OT winner for my Philadelphia Flyers, double OT winner, And ever since then, Luke's is one of the best guys. He's so funny in his own way. And,
you got to get him on the pod.
Oh, he'll come on. Fuck yeah, he's coming on. I'm going to get to know Brian on the pod. And
So you obviously, I think you should have your own podcast. So
you've been saying it for a long time, obviously.
It takes a little bit of balls, and you got to put forth like a pretty valiant effort into this, right? And so fair but firm. What's the breakdown?
So fair but firm is obviously, as you know, I'm a diehard boxing fan. Always have been since I was a kid. My dad and I have been watching boxing our whole lives. And there was a referee named Joe Cortez, little Latin guy, great referee, one of the greatest of all time, maybe top 2 or 3 greatest referees in boxing history. And when you would bring fighters to the middle of the ring and give the instructions, guys, I want a fair fight. I don't want any low blows. I want you to listen to my commands at all time. And remember, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm. And I always loved that when I was a kid. I'm fair, but firm. And it always stuck with me. Like, I'm fair, but firm. And that's a great way to live your life. So when Colin Thompson and I, my boy that helped me put this whole thing together, who has Not For Long Media, great guy, by the way. He's on the pod with me all the time. But when him and I were talking about what should I name the pod, I don't know why that came right to my mind. Because as you know, I like to goof around and I laugh as much as anyone. But I take a lot of pride in being honest, being a good friend, being good to my family. And I like to live my life like I'm fair, but I'm firm.
Yeah,
and, I stand my ground. You know how I am. So
you have a big heart. You are you're great with my kids.
They're amazing. I feel like they're. I mean, in Philly we always say, and I'm from Philly. And in Philly, there's a thing about Philly where everyone is kind of an aunt or an uncle, and the kids always call you that. There's a million kids in my life that are the daughters or the sons of some of my closest friends, and I'm Uncle Larry. That's just the way it is. I treat them like my nieces or nephews, and that's just the way it is. I don't know if it's a Philly thing, but I take a lot of pride in it. And when it comes to your kids, I love them with all my heart. I give my life for them. They're a huge part of my life. They're incredible kids, and I'm really proud of you. And it's an awesome thing to watch you be an incredible dad.
Thank you, bud. Yeah, no, it's I like diving into a new podcast, but it's fucking, when you have kids, it's a whole other thing, and it's great. And, I love it. My kids fucking are skiing now and, 3-1, and it's like, watch you have these moments where you're like fucking proud that,
I mean, I looked at you the other night. I looked at you, I turned to you and I said, man, yesterday. I said, yes. I looked at you, I don't know why. I looked at you yesterday, I said, up dog, just keep doing your thing. But I'm proud of you. You're doing it right. You're doing good. Keep doing your thing. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, we're watching the movie Ferrari where the guy's just got his holy fuck, did Enzo Ferrari have his hands and just a little bit of everything. What a flick, though.
What a flick. Listen, you've been a big, big part of my life in the last 10 plus years, and You guys have been a huge part of helping me get back on my feet through some tough times and build my business, get me where I am today. I appreciate you coming on the pod. This was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, we'll do it again. This was a good little sit down, buddy.
This was great.
Appreciate it.
Now we got
Thanks to our buddy Noah. We're here in Aspen at his office.
No,
Brother Marty's setting up. He's like a co-producer on this. On this gig, but
they're beauties and
keep it going.
Yeah. This is fun. I love it.
Episode 2 or 3 or
this is episode 4.
4.
Yeah,
nice.
We're going to keep our hobby. We're going to keep it natural. We're going to bring on some good friends. In the meantime, I have
some porn stars on here or something.
What do I talk to porn stars about?
I don't know. Just every Friday, Saturday, whatever kind of
Porn Star Friday.
You want, yeah.
If you haven't been to Aspen, folks, if you can afford to come to Aspen, come check it out. It's an incredible town. Updog and I are we're about to go hit the town, probably get some nice lunch, and enjoy the rest of the weekend. And again, Updog, I love you, buddy.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Thanks for coming on.
My man.
My boy.
Fortune and fame, I even cut my hair and changed my name, 'cause we all